back in the day, you could respond to videos on YouTube directly. It would say, are you, and then you would have a colon, and then when somebody said something, you have a response video, right? Back in the day. Now you cannot do that. It's kind of dumb that you cannot do that, because I just saw John Kiriakiou say, you would have to be mentally deranged and fucking insane to think that I went to prison to make CIA look cool. Okay, yeah, that's your CIA intelligence means that you know what logic is. When you're so annoyed with people's straw man arguments and misinterpretations and misgivings and misunderstandings of what the agency is, what you are, what we are about, what Americans, are about, what individuals are about, why they like to argue, why they like to make things up in their fucking heads and so on. You'd think you'd be, a little bit more precise, or at least have a comparative control thing, like to look at and say, I'm not like this guy or something, but I'll do it for you. So people go to prison sometimes, and they do keep a cover, like they are CIA, right? They go to prison for a crime. Once CIA, always CIA, period. Because once you actually do know how the system works in terms of like classified information, you're not just walking around with the same laws beforehand of being part of the agency applicable to you afterwards. No, you do not have free speech rights anymore. Fuck no. Because you have to be careful and responsible with how you speak in relationship to information that cannot be revealed to the public. That means that everything you say, including your fucking logical fallacies, John Kiriakiou, and you're a terrible actor, mean that you're actually disinforming, which is ironic because all somebody has to do is know what the word disinform means, and that's the only person that's going to get that you're lying. And, unless it's a profiler who knows you're lying because they just look at you and know you're lying. I'm not saying you're lying about trying to make CIA look cool and sexy. I wish somebody was trying to make CIA look cool and sexy. I think it's actually pretty cool. I don't think you need to be in the CIA to be in the CIA. You don't, okay? So if you get incidentally covered in an investigation and your behavior becomes relevant to an investigation you are not aware of, you might want to, be the most helpful person in terms of your own fucking security, right? So you want to be a responsible citizen, you want to think clearly about what you're doing, and you want to take notes and collect evidence on things that look bad, wrong, or suspicious. You want to discuss things that are important and related to the safety of your direct and internal self, your personal self, because you're not talking about how's Bob over in fucking Moldova doing, Like most of your ideas are centered around your own security, your own sense of, sovereignty of mind. The idea that, you're freely thinking about things that matter to you, and what constitutes a threat to your ability to think clearly and freely would be based on your status as its relationship to information that you have no fucking idea what it means and its implication in terms of what your opinion might be if you knew that stuff. And knowing that stuff and having to lie and then it right back full circle and talking like a regular person about what you think your opinion is. So, all this to say, the reason you're able to have like a consistency of your argument and the style of argument, like every human being does, is because of your character, okay? So if your character is like bouncing around, you're not able to actually make a coherent argument, it doesn't matter that you're denying one part that somebody is accusing you of doing, and then you do that denial by strawmanning that point too. You're trying to make CIA sexy by talking about going to prison, I mean, you could pick the lowest hanging fruit and use that to draw attention to yourself, so that you could say, no, I'm not saying CIA is great. I'm just saying I don't regret my career in the agency at all. And I would never take it back not in a second. And if I didn't know how great it was, I would seek it again, Just leave that part out and say, you know, you hate CIA because they become deranged. But the thing is like, you know, if that's a family organization of intelligence that's actually totally built upon having differences, being wrong, and hating each other and loving each other and figuring things out together, sharing information, that's a dialectical, logical family right there, actually. So the whole point in being in that family is to argue and be different from one another. So you would do that by, quote unquote, you know, leaving and going to jail and all that. So you could come out and yell at your friends and family who are obviously listening to you right now. Right? Because I went to prison on purpose 3 fucking times. And I might have to do it again, man. I can't confirm or deny why. Just kidding. But, like, what's the difference? What's the fucking difference, man? You know what's really cool about the United States? We have security and intelligence agencies that'll take anyone who can actually do the job for real. Who gives a fuck what you call it? You know why I like CIA, actually, though, honestly? As a fanboy, just as a fanboy, is that it's Central Intelligence Agency, because agency, the etymology of the word agency means life. Everybody's in the CIA. Some are just more aware than others.